We're live.
Hola Madridistas, welcome back to another episode of Let's Be Real podcast. If you guys are new here, don't forget to smash the like and subscribe to the channel. We are on the road to 3K. Big up our partners, as always, manscaped.com. Go check them out. LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. Pioneers of below the waist grooming for men, but they also have a huge catalog of products ranging from nose trimmers, beard trimmers, lingerie, boxes, you name it, they probably have it. Holiday season is around the corner. I mean, it's literally here. This is the perfect excuse to kind of, show some love to our thing. And, if you guys show us, sponsor some love, in turn, they show us some love, supporting what we do. But yeah, man, big up Manscaped, big up Fanatics. Go check them out. Probably the biggest sports apparel collection online. Partners of La Liga and Real Madrid. Yeah, go show them some love. They usually have site-wide offers. We don't have a specific code for them, but make sure you guys go use our link to kind of, if you're buying something from them so that they know you guys came through us. Also, big up our partners, Talksport, the biggest sports radio station in the world. Go show their social some love, their YouTube, and people in the UK, you might be already familiar, while on the move, in your car and whatnot. So, yeah, it's really, really humbling that Talksport actually kind of came on board and extended this support. They're kind of very focused on the Premier League and the lower divisions in England, but they're kind of branching out to the Champions League and the other European leagues as well. But yeah, man, that out of the way, a big up my co-panel, Farooq and Sid. This is a unique blend. You guys won't get this. The rum, the whiskey, and the vodka in the same bottle quite often. But this is a special occasion. Ninth Club World Cup for us, a historic moment, historic feat for Carlo Ancelotti, becoming the manager with the most number of titles, 15 titles in 5 years, averaging 3 a year. Come on, that's an absolute fucking joke of a stat. Luka Modric becoming the player with most trophies, 28, if I believe. But yeah, man, a lot of positives. Vinicius winning his 14th trophy. Walk me through it, man. I'll come to you. Sid, what's the vibe like? Second trophy of the season. All the doom and gloom of probably, the last couple of months has kind of dissipated a bit. This is looking like, a bit of a happy time for us.
Yeah, trophies are always a happy time, and
Mm.
trophies kind of are a synonym that goes with us with Real Madrid. And it's always great to win a trophy, and especially when the season was not going the way we wanted, but now it looks
Yeah.
like we are back on track, and a trophy always helps. And a trophy where you are, see, every final you have to win, and if you win, it gives you a lot of psychological boost, the confidence you get. And a very important one for Carlo Ancelotti, as you said, he surpasses Miguel Munoz to become the Real Madrid coach with the most number of trophies. Miguel Munoz was at 14, and now Don Carlo is at 15. I don't know if Farouk is happy listening to that stat, but
Oh, he's always happy. Trust me.
Come on, man. Like, I mean, I've always said this, like, Carlo is the man for the trophies, but of course, like, I'm not as ecstatic as you guys, because, like, if we don't win the Champions League, the Copa, or the league, we went trophyless. This is not a trophy to be counted. Of course, this is like a valuable exhibition, but of course, like, it's a game that, at least for me, was quite interesting to see, because, like, we saw a lot of, like, incision, a lot of precision, a lot of movements from the players, and I think, yeah, we're gonna get into that, but like, it was a good game. Honestly, it was a game to at least get the good vibes back.
Farooq, you have to understand, this isn't your trophy vibe, right? This isn't the picture you hang in your wall, but this is a good trip away in Vegas, right? A one night stand that was nice, right, Farooq? Doesn't hold much value, but you could tell your friends about it if you wanted to.
Nah, man, I'm sorry. I would not tell my. Come on, man. Don't be Barcelona and Man City fans, man.
I'm joking. I'm joking. I baited you, Farooq. That was clearly a bait, and you just ate it up. But okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Sunaid is the master baiter. My God.
Nah, okay, that's inappropriate. I don't vouch for it. I said, man, we don't support those kind of puns over here. But you do you.
Sponsored by Manscaped. Sorry.
Fair enough. Don't bring the sponsors into it. Keep them away. But yeah, man, talk to me.
Talk to me. What I am very happy about is might sound very Gen Z, but the fact that the first goal was Jude to Vinny to Mbappe, that's something we saw when they scored in the previous game, all three of them together. And when Rodrigo scored, he has a new John Cena-esque celebration. So
apparently
basically,
John Cena shared it.
Yeah, John Cena's social media is actually it's a I don't know, it's the most confusing thing I've ever seen. He follows some Bollywood journalists also, but that's a different topic.
Right.
But all four of them have a staple celebration right now, if you remember. Vinny is getting his new one. Jude, we know Mbappe is this, and then this is here also.
Yeah.
And that goal kind of in a way cemented the saying that Jude had posted, on Instagram, only fools forget the R. And he
100%.
was there.
100%.
And
Rodrigo took the moment. Yeah. I think it's apt to bring in Farouk, man. You hear all this. I'm pretty sure you're not moved by the new amalgamation of exciting celebrations on the menu. But like, what does this night mean to you over the course of the season? You said this isn't something that we're going to be parading, right? Exactly. But surely these guys playing together and them putting up a decent display, not a dominant display as one might think looking at the scoreline, but there were some decent plays. Surely this would feed into their confidence.
I definitely agree with that. Definitely, taking away from the game and the context of what it was or what it wasn't. But if when we go back a couple of games, we've always talked about the fact, okay, who's going to play that pass? How is it going to work? And the interesting thing I would like to pinpoint is that, okay, Sid here is trying to point about the Jude, Vini, Mbappe combination, but I even go further behind that. How did the move start? It started at the halfway line, the first goal I'm talking about. It started at the halfway line with Fede Valverde feeding it into Camavinga, moving and Camavinga giving it back to him, and Fede playing that incisive pass into Jude. This is something that has been lacking a lot, that we've not seen a lot this season, is that who's going to play that incisive pass, the pass that's going to, into the attackers, to allow them to, exploit that space, or rather to allow them to make the next right move. So, this is the thing, and when you see, it's not just for the first goal, even for the second goal, it was the same thing as well. The goal that eventually, of course, it was a golazo. It was something that was created out of nothing. But I think that's the point I was trying to make, is that this game actually built on what we've seen in the past 2, 3, 4 games. Okay, there's something that's starting to click. Of course, these players are starting to be able to understand where they are. Okay, they're not playing the kind of passes that Cruz used to play. But the point is now the movements are getting better. You understand?
Yeah.
The understanding it's building up as well. So I think this more more than the trophy itself. Speaks volume, and this is I also maybe might be very typical of Real Madrid as well. We're turning the year, the spring is coming, and we click into gear. But this, breeds more confidence, gives me more confidence that okay, these players are hitting the form again. Because I've always said I don't think the coaching staff can solve the rot we're in. This team is built on individuals, and if individuals start to play again, start to make those movements again, we can beat anybody any day. And that's the glimpse of what we saw today.
I completely agree. A huge part is, definitely because of how nice and clever Fede Valverde was, especially with his direct passes that broke lines that Pachuca were basically desperately trying to cover. That's the sort of thing usually we don't associate with our midfield, right? Our midfield takes its good long time to kind of build up attacks. But Sid, Farooq makes a very valid point. Do you share the same sentiment? I also felt, Camavinga was pretty decent as well. Both of them had a few erratic passes here and there, but, especially Camavinga with his, late runs into midfield, even his driving with the ball, the midfield looked, in tandem, it looked like it knew where and when to be, basically.
Yeah, I resonate with the Farouk said, because one of the major reasons why it was visible to us today was midfielders were playing in their desired position. The fact that we had Eduardo Camavinga and Fede Valverde where they are supposed to play.
Yeah.
So they wanted to be in that, the two midfielders in the double pivot, and then Jude was more as a number 10 behind the front three, where he
He was
likes
the floating.
like
Yeah.
yeah, and we also had the luxury to play the formation we really want to play because of the competition level. The fact that Pachuca are, I think, 11th in Liga Mexico right now, Mexico. So Carlo Ancelotti had the freedom to plant the seeds to the system he wants to see. And when the players, I think it was only Chouameni who was playing out of position. Apart from that, every player was playing at that position, and that kind of suited the way we wanted to attack. We could see a lot of consistent patterns. We could see how individuals wanted to move. And if you remember, there were times when Mbappe shifted to the left, Vinny came in the center, Rodrigo on the left. So they were floating all around. The front four, in a way, were floating around. And there was a time I remember when Vinny came back, when he was around the midfield line and Jude was ahead. So these guys were like literally, it's like a Rubik's Cube. They were like just like rotating from one position to the other till the time they find the solution. And if this is the way forward, it's probably the best thing we could see, the starting 11 we wanted leading to a trophy, because be it a final, every final is difficult to win. For Pachuca, it would have been probably the game of the season. They wanted to beat Real Madrid in the way they wanted to, and they could have sat back and and in the first half we did see a few chances that they were creating. But then when the team got rhythm, they started to eliminate all the things possible that could have led to an error or a goal. There was say an offside goal at the end of the game that could have spoiled the mood for Thibaut Courtois if the clean sheet was not confirmed. But apart from that, the way the players were combining with each other off position and with the ball, it was great to see.
100%. The thing that kind of made me really happy was what you exactly mentioned. We especially when the Mbappe thing was kind of confirmed, probably early this year, and how it has been kind of brimming into it actually happening over the last few years. We always had this idea, like these guys, they're wingers in their essence, but when they come together, at least on paper, it looks like it's going to be a very dynamic front three, right? And when they kind of find their rhythm and they find how to basically play with each other, the questions basically get answered themselves, right, Farooq? You just see how positionally clever they can be, when they get their mojo back.
Exactly. That's the thing, like the point is, like we need people to play on top form. And one thing we've noticed one thing that's clear is that Kylian Mbappe has been suffering from a confidence of crisis, So that's the thing. Like, if he's not in that belief that he can beat everyone that comes in front of him, every shot is a goal, it's impossible to ask him to adapt to a new system, a new country, and all that. So I do think that we saw last season with Rodrigo and Vinicius, they weren't playing in their favorite positions, but because they were in form, they were able to find a way to make it work. You understand? So this is the point. Like, if these players are able to, reach that peak level, I'm not saying they reach that today, like they're not at that point yet, but if they're able to, approach that level, it will be so easy and so slick to see how the fluidity, the rotation that you will see that occurs, with these three players, because like all three players in their own individual right are, one of the top 10, top 20 players in the world, So like that ability that they have, as you talked about, like the whole doubt with how would you gel Kylian Mbappe, or would he come and be a destructive presence, or what is and what is not. All the news, everything that we've been seeing about Kylian Mbappe or lack thereof is just only because it hasn't clicked on the pitch. Yeah, if you look at the stat sheet, you see, Kylian Mbappe has 13 goals, I think, in the season. That's a very good return. But when you watch the game, you understand that this is not, the return is not what we come to expect of Kylian Mbappe. But what this game showed today is that, it's it just goes back to a couple of games that we've seen as well. Like Kylian Mbappe is starting to get into the groove back as well, and also it highlights that the chemistry, the synergy between this front three, actually, as Sid was saying earlier, like this was a good game to actually test and develop that synergy as well. So one thing we saw that like this is something that is possible to to be achieved. Of course, like so as Sid also rightly mentioned, it's Pachuca. It's like Pachuca is like in Liga MX. They're not even doing well in the league as well and all that. So like the credentials of the opponent is
But they
questionable.
won 2 games in Qatar, I believe, right?
Yeah, I mean, of
Before
course,
this.
like they won 2 games. I think one was against Al Ahly of Egypt, and the other one was against I think Al Ain. I am not sure
No,
which
no,
one.
no, Botafogo.
Botafogo, yeah, Brazilian Botafogo. So like this is that those were the 2 games they won. Like it's hardly uh convincing opponents anyways. But the point I'm trying to make is that when you compare the stratosphere
Yeah.
that Real Madrid competing and what Pachuca is, you understand you might have doubts about this or not, but you can only defeat what is it? You can only play the team that's in front of you and defeat the team that's in front of you. So this game, as I said, at the beginning as well, like was a very
Yeah.
good, like rehearsal, or let's say like a template for what we can come to expect in the coming weeks and months.
100%. Said, if I come to you, right? Remember, you used to take the fucking piss out of me in the group chat, thinking like I am some sort of I'm basically the antichrist in Mbappe as well, right? They used to basically point out that I used to be happy when he has a poor performance. But that aside, you've noticed that I've kind of warmed up to him. But my question is, when you see performances like this, like especially tonight, like Vinicius did all the heavy lifting. He kind of laid it on a plate, but it essentially was a bit behind him. Mbappe has had to work a little bit harder than it kind of maybe have appeared to look, especially in the replays. But that goal would actually again do his confidence a lot of good.
The reason why I used to take the piss was you're overly critical and the expectations are sky high, which is normal. But also, he has all. It's not like you have warmed up to him. He has started scoring more goals. So but
Isn't that a logical conclusion, Sid?
yeah.
We
But
aren't
what
here to basically do any charity.
we are not here to do charity. And I think the fact that he's played 2 finals for Real Madrid, scored in both the 2 finals. And today we could see his work rate a little more, and it kind of shows that he's ready to put in that extra yard, and maybe he's ready to increase his potential to, make more impact. And we all know he came after a very long season, tired, no preseason, injuries in between. He missed the Derby game against Atleti, then missed a few games in between. And finally, he started to find some rhythm. And that goal would actually do a lot of help to his confidence. And obviously, it was made by Vinny. It was made all by the team, like Farouk mentioned before. It was Jude and Vinny, and that skill by Vinny was out of the world to do that. But what I genuinely loved watching was the fact that Kylian Mbappe, the first thing he does after scoring the goal when he gets up is points at Vinny Jr. And kind of shows that it's about the team where he's coming in. Now he has started to realize that he has to perform for the team and not for himself. And there's one complaint that I have though with Carlo Ancelotti on this one. If there is not an injury scare, Kylian Mbappe should not have been substituted, because if he scores another goal, that boosts his confidence much more than we expect. If he's feeling confident, he's finding his rhythm. Give him a few more minutes. It's a final, and obviously
I do think it's a precautionary measure to kind of pull him off early, because he's just coming back, right? So I do think.
I mean, I'm on the total opposite of what you're saying, Sid. Man, I was actually here like about to punch the screen and like, why are people still playing till the 88th minute? Like, I was like, why is Vinicius playing? Why? Why? Why are they continuing to play this guy? To understand, like this.
But Mbappe, I mean, Sid, maybe he has a point. If he was fit enough, he isn't fit, so this isn't. Anyways,
it's not about being fit. It's about the fact that we've seen this season that everything is touch and go. We've had the recurring injuries over and over and over.
Oh yeah.
On Sunday, you travel back from Qatar. I'm not sure, Sid, but I think the flight from Qatar to Spain is more or less 6 to 8 hours. I'm not sure what the number is, but I'm assuming it's going to be anyways between 6 to 8 hours, more or less. So the point is, you're going to take an 8-hour flight, go back to Madrid, then play Sevilla again on Sunday. You understand? So, like, you have to factor all of this into. I mean, the point is, the game is done and dusted. You have nothing to lose in this game. So, like, the point is, you have people like Endrick on the bench. I mean, I really don't know whatever the fuck Endrick is doing in training. But after I watched this game, I kind of feel like, there is something wrong somewhere. Because at least with Arda, we saw that, okay, when he was fit last season, they threw him on, even if it was for 5 minutes, even if it was for 1 minute. But I'm not sure what's happening with Hendrik, because I feel like
Hendrik is a lot more raw. And I was very opinionated about his overall physique, especially like it might be a very casual take, but I do think, in my viewpoint, that Hendrik's height necessarily doesn't allow him to be a guy who can play alone at the top, especially in our system. Like he can be probably effective, out on the wing, or maybe as a sort of a pseudo striker. Probably that is what they're kind of, wondering about, how to kind of fit him in. And he was definitely a lot more raw.
You had scored the third goal in the 70-something minutes. Like why do you need to keep Vinicius on the pitch? Whatever happens. Why do you need to keep Fede Valverde on the pitch? Whatever happens, happens. Why do you have to wait till the 88 minutes to bring up Jude Bellingham? Whatever happens, happens. These are things that, like, I don't know, I hope we do not come to regret. But like when you talk about players being fatigued and players being tired and all this, like the coaching staff, I understand, okay, like this is an important competition for the team. I understand, like put up your strongest 11. But after the 75th or 76th minute, you're already 3-0 up. Then why keep pushing the limit?
Yeah.
All of these players that I have highlighted now all had injury scares at certain points this season. Which all of them are literally. Vini came back against Atlanta in midweek, man. Jude was in and out. Yeah. He was gonna do, he wasn't gonna do. You understand? So like you look at this and you feel like, why push the limit? Like this is a game you're winning 3-0 against a very inferior opponent that doesn't look like threatening you from that 3-0 scoreline. Then why push the limit? I get you want to like you play people into form and all that, but like there is a limit that you consider. Like we go for the break, we come back, we go again to Saudi Arabia, we play maybe 2 matches there, and then you come back and then you look at like it's a very, very long season, So like I feel like these minor things are things that could be, handled better.
Sid was gonna say something.
I was saying that the fact that he took off Kylian Mbappe and then he took off Kamavinga, both of them freshly coming back, and I feel it's not like, in my understanding, I feel Jude Bellingham could have been substituted before, but with Vinny, I feel because he won the FIFA Best Award yesterday and he really wanted that goal in a final. Sometimes these players, they have that, they want a goal in that final, and I feel I felt that was the reason for Vinny, because if you remember
100%.
Like if you remember the second half, he wanted that goal. There were times he could have passed, but he was like, no, I need that goal, and freshly off from being crowned the best player in the world. And I felt sometimes it's much more than a footballing reason. But yeah, there could have been precautions taken. But looking at our defense, the way we concede, if we concede 1, we concede 2 and 3. I think that is why he made late substitutions. So the fact that if something goes wrong, what if we need a few players who could still impact the game? It goes to extra time, because we had a game in the first part of the season. I think it was Alaves or something, where we're leading 3-0 and in 2 minutes it
could have been 3-3.
Yeah, it almost could have been. So there's always a lot of things going back in the mind, especially in a final. So, but he did take it out like stepwise, and he got in Brahim, he got in Dani Ceballos, then Luka Modric came in. So this is all by the 70-minute mark, and then I think then Arda Güler came in, right?
Yeah.
No, Asensio came in.
They came together. Both Asensio and Arda came in at the 88, I think, more or less.
But Farooq, do you notice this, right? Like this guy, he is basically systematically convincing us, this was a move beyond football, right? Like he used to work for the club, so. You see, I'm seated. I'm like, yes, Sid, you're right. You do have a point. So this is how, it is done. This is PR, right? I mean, PR 101. So I get it. I get it. But yeah, like Farooq has a point, very valid point as well. But, sometimes this might be an occasion that Vinny would want to check off his list, since we are on the topic, since he won the best award and whatnot. Were you guys just to kind of, pick your brains, I'll come to you, Farooq, first. Were you kind of satisfied by, the whole ordeal, like him not winning the Ballon d'Or, but he got FIFA the best and whatnot? had a landslide in terms of votes, especially among the fans and whatnot. Like for me personally, it felt a bit anticlimactic. But yeah, like what did you kind of feel yesterday, Farouk?
Nah, man, I still feel like Vinicius still doesn't get recognition he deserves because Vinicius won the
Yeah.
votes from the captains and the fans only.
Mm,
The
mm,
coaches and the journalists voted for some people. I can understand the journalists. Like the point is, for the journalists, it's just as we saw with the Ballon d'Or. I can't remember someone, but there was someone from Asia who said that the reason he voted for Rodri because Rodri had the university degree. Bro, you're voting for the
Holy
best
shit!
footballer in
Who
the
said
world.
that? Who
I
said that?
can't remember who it was, but like there was a journalist from Asia who said this.
Oh my
Rodri, like,
goodness. Okay.
I mean, okay, like I'm just putting words together, but like when he was explaining the rationale behind voting
Mm,
for Rodri, he was citing the fact that Rodri had a university degree, and I'm thinking like, bro, are we discussing about the same thing? I mean, are they, so like when you look at this thing, like it really like it makes you like
goodness.
I don't know, but I just feel like for me it wasn't enough honestly. Like I mean okay, yeah, I really won it, but like I still didn't feel the satisfaction that I got with like with for instance Karim Benzema's win, but like I do feel like we
Right.
need that we need that revenge tour. Like we need to definitely find a way that Vini goes back next year. Hopefully we need to go back and win the Champions League, and hopefully there is no doubt next year. But because honestly, I still feel like there's still a lot of people out there who still do not understand or I don't know, just choose to not appreciate what Vinicius Junior was honestly.
Said.
And I will just read out two things that while I was preparing for this, I read. And one stat about Vinny Jr. is he's played 12 finals for Real Madrid. And
Yeah.
he has 14 goals and assists. It kind of shows the impact
Yeah.
also he has on the trophies he wants to win for the club.
Mhm.
One.
Mhm.
And the second is one of the biggest sports journalists in Spain. His name is Jose Felix Diaz, and he works for El Chiringuito de Jugones. And a lot of people say that like maybe it's a game show or something, but he's one of those people who's very like serious. And he himself is a journalist,
Mm.
and he put out this Instagram story. I took a screenshot actually when I seeing it. He said the journalist selected Rodri, and the world
Yeah.
has selected Vinicius.
Mhm.
And this is what it is. It's simple. Captains, coaches, and journalists, fans have selected Vinny. Only journalists have selected Rodri. And
Mhm.
coming from a journalist, it makes a lot of clarification to a lot of things that, there are a lot of
Yeah.
doubts. Like, for example, like Farouk said, there's also a few journalists I think from El Salvador or somebody, their voting was way bizarre. Vinny was not in the top 10.
Mhm.
This could be an agenda, and also there were a few journalists. I think it was a Finland journalist who resigned after his votes were exposed because he said,
Oh,
"I
yeah, I remember
purposely
that.
didn't do it." So,
Mhm.
and I don't know, the Ballon d'Or over the last few years did lose a lot of credibility. I'm not just saying because Vinny didn't win this season, but there have been a lot of questionable winners where it could have just swung the other way. Haaland not winning after a treble was a questionable one. One was given to Messi when he was, I think, playing for Inter Miami, where I was like,
The World
and
Cup, bro, you
Yeah.
have to put the World Cup in there, man. The one you won at Inter was for the World Cup.
so I think he won one before that also. So it's like he has 8.
But that was you're talking about the FIFA best actually, because Messi won FIFA best for twice for the same World Cup.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, when Benzema didn't win.
Exactly,
Right?
yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So am I just saying, like, but when Vinny did not like win, there was a lot of controversy that happened, and
Yeah.
maybe the votes got divided between Carvajal and this thing. But if you see, the Spanish coach and the Spanish captain didn't vote for Rodri to win the FIFA best. There are a lot of things that go on, and
Yeah.
Vinny, like in his post-match press conference today, he just said, I'm just reading a quote from him. Those who didn't vote for me will change their minds. I will always work harder. And I loved the character he has shown to move on.
Yeah.
He started scoring goals. You don't vote for me, I cry for a few days. There'll be a problem. It's a setback. A few days later, back from injury, scoring goals, winning trophies. So
100%.
that kind of shows the mentality the player has. A lot of people don't give him the credibility because they might not like a lot of things that he does on the field. But with the ball, what he does on the field, very few can replicate, and that is the truth.
100%. And
I'm gonna. Oh, go on, sir.
No, go.
I'm gonna play the devil's advocate here and just nitpick on what Sid is saying here. Like, I mean, for me, the whole thing that I just felt is that you talk about, like Vini scoring and all, but I still felt that like, no matter what happened, Rodri won, right? I felt that the decision of Vinicius not going there, in my opinion, was disrespectful. Because we sat here and saw the best player that played for our club, the biggest diva we know in football, go to the Ballon d'Or for 3 straight years, sitting there, and Messi was winning every year.
But Cristiano didn't show up for a few of them.
No. Man, Ronaldo and Messi didn't show up only once when Luka Modric won the Ballon d'Or.
Okay, right.
Yeah,
so they showed up every time.
Yeah,
every other
they
time,
showed up every year.
From
2000.
My memory is shit. Okay.
Ronaldo was getting customized suits to go to events that already we knew that Messi won. You understand? So for me, like, Vini, Sid talking about Vini's reaction and all that. For me, I felt like his reaction was really poor. It was that of a loser. I could not understand that decision and the club's decision as a whole. Do you understand? Because as I said, like, I saw.
But I do think, Farooq, it's coming from a place probably they felt betrayed. I'm not sure, because if these awards function the way they do, and the winners kind of get some inside information that they're going to win, and then it got changed last minute or something. I don't know.
I mean, that's fair. I mean, let's not come here and pretend what is or what is not. Cristiano Ronaldo was robbed of the Ballon d'Or in 2018. I loved Modric to the core, but like, because Cristiano left Real Madrid, we literally just spin the PR machine as a punishment to him leaving the club, and push Luka to win the Ballon d'Or. This is just the point. This is fair truth. So I wouldn't come here and sit back and also be like, they robbed Vinicius. Okay, they robbed Vinicius. This is my personal opinion, but I do feel like, as an entity, as a person who was in the running, you have to respect the opposition. As an organization, which is Real Madrid, we also had to respect the fact that, okay, Rodri won. It's not like they found Farooq and gave Farooq the Ballon d'Or. No, Rodri was also a deserved recipient. Oh, was it the best one? No, he wasn't. But of course, definitely he was a worthy winner as well. So this is what I felt. But of course, I still hope that Vini can maintain the levels and go back there and put it in the face of those journalists and or whatever they are like. Yeah.
But what I meant to say is also the on the field reaction. It did not. What I meant was his reaction on the field did not take a lot of time. A lot of people after a personal setback take a lot of time to deliver, and that is what I meant with Vinicius' impact. And the fact that I don't know who. To be honest, I do know, but I can't say whose call it was to not go to the Ballon d'Or ceremony, But on the other hand, if you see the fact that all of us know that the Ballon d'Or winner knows he's winning the Ballon d'Or. If you read Luka Modric's biography, there is a chapter where he mentions that, I won the Ballon d'Or a day before and I was told, and I had to tell nobody, but then he called up his wife and he told everyone. And he himself writes that in his biography. And the fact that why are people also not mentioning that Rodri didn't show up at the FIFA Best Awards? It's a two-way streak, Like if Rodri has went on to say that it was okay, he did not say, but he did agree with, say, Gary Lineker and a lot of other media. He did it on Spanish TV La Sexta, where he felt it was disrespectful, where Real Madrid as a club or Vini as a player did not come to the ceremony. Why didn't the fact that he was on crutches when he was climbing up the stairs to take the trophy, so he could have done the same at the FIFA Best ceremony.
Actually, Steve, there is an issue there. The point is that for the Ballon d'Or, you have the what's it called? Eventually, I think we have a list of finalists, right? Or don't we have a list of finalists for the Ballon d'Or?
Yeah, top 30 or something, no?
Yeah.
Don't they break it down? I thought like they break it down before the actual event, and like at the actual event, then they reveal the final three. Like in the hours leading up to the Ballon d'Or, I think we get the list of the published Ballon d'Ors, and then like we get the final three at the event itself, if I'm not wrong.
For this year, yes. For previous years, no.
Okay. Because like one thing I was actually trying to understand, like actually yesterday before the event was like I saw like there were only just 11 finalists for the FIFA Player of the Year. You understand? So I kind of feel like maybe that was the reason why they all did not go, because like if the 11 finalists, like 11 people are not going to win the Ballon d'Or. That's why
Also,
the FIFA Player of the Year.
also FIFA the best. I'm not sure, but I did read that the invitations were kind of last minute that were sent out. I'm not sure if that's true, but either ways, yeah, the Vinny thing is like I get where Farouk's coming from. I did feel a bit that way as well. You can't fault anybody for thinking, yeah, probably the club and Vinny as a person could have been a bit bigger than what it appeared to be. But Vinicius, he's young, man, and this is a different generation we're dealing with, right? Like, we should kind of give him some time to kind of grow as a person. It is a bit it is a bit of a travesty that like his every move is kind of screened throughout throughout social media, throughout the press and whatnot. I think it comes with the territory, but remember Farouk, a couple of years ago when his basically on the field with the ref and the fans, when it got to a boiling point, I was one of the most vocal people on here who used to be completely fed up with his antics, but now he has kind of grown out of it a bit. Like it isn't as much of a thorn as it was before. So I hope this is just another step in his journey. And if you leave that aside, man, 8 goals and 6 assists in 12 finals, he is the number one. Farouk, you yourself sat here and told us that like he is without a question the number one, regardless of what position anyone is kind of debating about. He is numero uno. So this is what I want to kind of ask you guys, right? Like he is the undisputed number one winger, right? But the striker equation might be a bit different. He might not be as maybe clinical. Like I've seen Haaland miss some absolute sitters over the years. Like I'm not even sure like his his clinicality might be a bit blown out of proportion. But Vinicius as a striker, we need to have a serious conversation, right? Like whenever he plays down the middle, he is still a very big threat, and he essentially played down the middle most of last season to win us a double. Farouk, like where do you rank him as a striker? Like for me, he's top 5 easily.
I mean, I don't rank Vinicius as a striker, man. It's like asking me to rank Haaland as a winger as well, man. I think that's unfair to the.
No, but he has
property.
played significant minutes. That's why
I mean, even if the formation shows that, for instance, when we played against City, you understand, like at the Bernabeu in the quarterfinals, it showed that we had 2 strikers. But if you watch the game, it's like we had 2 left wingers. It wasn't it.
No, I know.
You understand? So like,
I know, like, but throughout the game, he does take up very central positions, Farouk. Although he creates havoc from the left, he does take up a lot of central positions, link up play, prop deep.
But I do kind of think it's that question you ask, like when you go like like say like okay, rank Thierry Henry as a winger and as a striker. Like I feel like you're putting the player in a cage. In my opinion, Vinicius Junior is the best player in the world. Simple. He is the most incisive attacker that you find in the world. As an attacker, I don't think of a better player. You understand? But when we start to break it down into the role of wingers and strikers, I do think there are better strikers in the world. I do think Erling Haaland is a striker that you always have to. You cannot say anything about. As a winger,
that wasn't the desired impact I kind of had in my mind. Like when you said that I put them into a cage, my basic thinking was, this basically cements another dynamic or another asset to what Vinny brings to the table, that he is still as effective centrally, or probably not as much credit he gets compared to his performances down the middle.
That's also the thing. So the point is that you also have to highlight the fact that like we're not talking about like traditional positions that we had like 5-10 years ago. In the past, you had the winger. Let's go back to the years of Robinho. Robinho played with Raul and Nistelrooy. He had one job: beat his man, cross the ball into the box, finish. There is nothing else. Van Nistelrooy's job was being in the box, head the ball, wait for a rebound, find the goal, and finish. But now, like you can see, the game is different. The game is evolving. You understand? When Rodrigo first came to the club, what did we all love and like about him? The fact that he was able to, bring himself in from the wing position, link up with the players, interchange position, stuff like this. So I think this is the thing. Like, it's the game is no longer being played with the studio positions of like, okay, we have a striker and we have a winger. Now it's just like we have attackers. An attacker is both a striker and a winger at the same time. Of course, I understand what you're trying to say, like the evolution that we've seen of Vinicius Junior, not just being a winger that beats his man and looks for a cross or something like that, but someone who is also able to interpret space, and to what you guys were talking about earlier, about the fact that the fluidity that we see now with Vini moving into the central position, Kylian Mbappe moving out wide, interchanging with Rodrigo as well here and there. I do understand the point you're trying to make, but as a striker, eventually, like, how would I say it? Yeah, more or less, I would say top 5, top 10. Like, if we look at it from that angle, but I just think like Vinicius Junior is the best player in the world. Full stop. There is no other elements to it.
Sid, are you of the same opinion, or?
Yeah, the thing is, I think post 2000s, right? Whenever we used to talk about a good player and a great player was always judged by their ability to excel at multiple positions. A good player could play at multiple positions, but a great player would excel at multiple positions. Talk about Cristiano turning from left wing to the right at Manchester United, from a right winger, left winger, to left midfielder, left winger, and then a centre forward, and he was excelling at it. Talk about Messi. He was a right winger when he started. And to turn into that false number 9 role, that was also his ability. And last season, I remember where we did not have a proper striker, and we signed Joselu, and we were talking to the fans outside the Bernabeu. And after that, there was a post-match conference that happened, and Carlo Ancelotti said that I have to train Vinicius Junior to make runs like a number 9. Rodrigo knows how to make runs as a number 9, but Vinicius needs to learn it, because he'll be playing as an inside forward. And I think initially last season he could not, and he found that rhythm from the second half of that season. And that rhythm has continued, and now he started to excel at this. Apart from beating his man from the wings, at centrally he can hold the ball, dribble class players, and exchange those quick passes in the final third to create space or make an assist for a player, where he would just release the ball and the runner is there to meet his through ball for a one-time finish or another pass. And this is where his characteristic of being the best player of the world comes in. It took him majority of the times he operates from the left wing, but when he's played as you mentioned centrally, he's still delivering 90 to 95% of what he can from the left wing. And this is why I say he's an impact player, and probably the top, if you want to say, I say top 7, because obviously out and out number 9 would be ahead, but he can do things as a number 9 that a lot of traditional number 9s cannot do. And I think that is the modern game right now.
That's a very valid point. If you look at, like, especially like I used to look at Vinny sometimes coming inside over the years, especially during his initial years at Madrid. He never used to have the awareness or the positioning or the decision making to really come inside and not rely on his pace, but rely on his quick acceleration, especially in tight areas to kind of beat men. But now he just is so so adaptive to basically anything that opposition defenses throw his way, especially like if you saw the exchanges when he came centrally this game with our midfield, it just resembles some of the elite strikers that we have seen over the years. The 1-2 and the quick run in behind, the center back, or basically just dumbing one into thinking that he's gonna drop extra deep, but then giving them the shoulder and just basically darting in behind. Vinicius, for me, no matter what he is doing on the pitch. He just seems to have that confidence, that energy that completely lifts the side. And guys like Mbappe, who was kind of struggling to get into the action, is basically piggying back of him. It's a nice dynamic. Like if I had a teammate like Vinicius, like I would be completely kind of bouncing off of him. And the team is reaping the rewards, man. The faith, the trust that this management showed Vinicius. Like I've always said that I never thought Vinicius would be the player that he is today. His instinct, especially in front of goal, left a lot to be desired. But you see, with the amount of trust from the top chairs in Madrid, he got, like he has completely ran away with it. I must say. But let's talk about. Go on.
I would just like to add something, and this is I'm talking about pre-2020 when he was like just signed and he was given being sent to Castilla, and then he was coming back, and we are having that horrific season, right? When Cristiano left, and at that time, I remember when I came to Madrid, I was talking to fans, and I was there when Vinny was having that breakthrough season with Karim Benzema, where people thought Hazard and Bale would be the front three with Benzema, and then the game against Levante, he scored 2 goals. We were losing 3-0, and he led to a 3-3 draw. And I was talking to fans in general and a few people around, and one of these people, they told me, and it's something I remember clearly that the hype around Vinicius Jr. when he was signed and why he was signed was so intense that during that horrific season where a lot of fans knew that you're going to the match and Real Madrid could lose, a lot of people were just paying to watch Vinicius Jr. on the left wing. And this is why he was bought back from Castilla. And that's where the seeds were, put in, and now we're seeing the flowers. It's like that. And a lot of people knew with time, it was, showed to the world that this could be possible as well. Just give them time.
Yeah, I do remember you telling me this, but like you kind of took me back, a couple of years with the Levante game. I remember away. One of the Vinny goals was an absolute peach. It was a neat, clever little dink over the keeper from the left. And Vinicius, I mean, boy oh boy, the levels that this guy has shown over the last 2-3 years, it's amazing. But Farouk, Bellingham, again, big performance, an assist in the Super Cup final, another assist this game as well. Has been consistently putting up numbers over the past month that is, again, if he continues, this is basically another top 2, top 3 Ballon d'Or placement. I'm not going to put too much emphasis on a Ballon d'Or podium, but just kind of stressing the point that he is basically just behind Vinicius in terms of importance for this team. And also, La Liga Player of the Month, also, by the way.
That's the thing, man. I totally agree with you, man. I'm just gonna, deviate from the numbers and just, give you a scene that, when you just mentioned Bellingham, popped to my mind. It was the 88th minute. Bellingham wins the ball on the right wing, gives the ball to Vinicius. Vinicius loses the ball, and Bellingham wins the ball back again.
This guy, holy shit!
The 88th minute, like there is no point in jumping in and coming. Like, I mean. Honestly, I feel like it's a disservice, honestly, like to put Jude Bellingham in those, numbers game. I understand, like, this is how the game, this is what the game has become into. But like, honestly, like, Jude is something
else. The work rate, my goodness.
And it's not just about the work rate. Like, there are people that you just see that, like, okay, they're running around and they're doing stuff and this and that. It's that Jude Bellingham wins the tackle and comes out of it gracefully like Zidane. You understand?
Farouk, right? Like, let me ask you this. So, sorry to break you, break your flow. But during games, when he goes in for a slide, like at least me personally, like I would think, bro, that is rash. Like, what are you going to basically achieve from that particular action? But he always manages to come away with the ball. Like it isn't happenstance, right? At this point.
Exactly, man. This is just the thing. It's like, he goes into tackles that he should not be going into. You understand? I'm not saying this because like he's a 100 million player or something. No, like these are tackles that if you miss them, they are cards. You understand? And if you're doing three and four of this in a game, it's going to lead to a red card. Like he's going into tackles that he should not be, and somehow he wins the ball. And he's progressing. He's not just like he's not poking the ball away. No, he's like winning the ball and progressing the ball forward.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I don't know, man. I don't want to, say I haven't. I don't know, but personally, man, I haven't seen a player like Jude Bellingham before, man.
Yeah, 100%. Me neither. I mean, we have seen a lot of artistry, right, over the years at our club, but the industry and the effectiveness of it.
The mixture of that artistry and industry is what is, like we always talked about. You had a player like Mesut Ozil or James Rodriguez, like they're phenomenal with the ball and their feet, but like these are not people who are going to fly into tackles and win the ball back and stuff like this. And then we have players that you talk about like the likes of Makalele and Casemiro, and like those guys will always win the ball back and this. But then you find a mixture in between. Okay, he's not as good as the Makalele and the Casemiros in doing this. He's not James Rodriguez or Mesut Ozil, but he's just a mesh of both. He's someone that so tall that he shouldn't be, that the way he moves because of his physique, he shouldn't move that way, the way he tackles, man. I mean, honestly, like Jude, as I said, man, for me, like Jude transcends the numbers, man. I really do not care if Jude goes on a 1-year goal scoring drought, man. Like if Jude continues doing what he does, man, like he definitely, man, he's always gonna be very, very highly ranked in my books, man. Honestly.
Sid, you might be our biggest Fede Valverde rep, right? Like you have a lot of glowing, words to basically say about Fede Valverde. Compared to Fede Valverde, you always, like I've seen in fan cams, even when we talk on the phone, you always kind of reiterate, Fede is the spine of the side, no matter where he plays, right back, DM, CM, right? Is Jude Bellingham as equally as important as Fede for you?
So I feel they are the first two names, probably after Thibaut Courtois when Carlo Ancelotti makes the starting 11. I feel Jude Bellingham is so whatever Fede Valverde does in terms of covering ground, right?
Yeah.
The only person who could replicate that is Jude Bellingham. Whatever Vinicius Junior, Rodrigo, and Kylian Mbappe do in terms of goal scoring and making goals for each other, the only player from midfield who could replicate that is Jude Bellingham. And these two players are my favorite two players right now. If I had, say, 500 euros, I had to buy 3 jerseys, I would literally buy Fede, Jude, and Jude. Like, it's like that. And I did. When Jude Bellingham was signed, I genuinely did not expect this to happen. And how fast he has become a fan favorite because he gives his all, whatever. There is no 50-50s with him. It's either me or it's not for you. It's that. And the fact that you tell him that, okay, now we don't expect you to score goals. He's going to run like a pit bull, recover balls, dribble past players, sometimes even dribble with skills. There is this one moment I remember where during this game, there are 2 people coming and pressing him. He takes the ball back and then suddenly takes the ball forward and jumps between the 2 midfielders and he's taken the ball away. And I am just wondering, like, this is as Zidane-esque as possible. And then there are certain passes, if you remember, where 4 people are there in between. He finds a diagonal pass to Vinicius Junior that Vinicius misses. But it's a similar pass that he made against Leipzig last year, where 4 people are blocking and he diagonally cuts it in, and Vinny is running from behind. And I'm just wondering, could Zidane would have done that? Probably he would. But I'm just wondering, I'm just like, I might not have seen enough of Zidane, but I am seeing enough of Jude, and it's never going to be enough. Like this player, like there is a meme that trends after, I got a cramp. There is a meme that trends after every Real Madrid game that send 300 million euros to Borussia Dortmund. 100 million was cheap. And that kind of shows the quality, It's I don't know, this guy is just phenomenal. It's phenomenal. And I am glad he's not playing in England. In England, I don't think he would have
Yeah.
replicated. I've seen it with a lot of English players.
Yeah.
He chose a legacy that a lot of English players don't choose. And you can see. And something I want to say when we were talking about the Ballon d'Or, like for me personally, it was Jude's to win. Like whatever happens, it's a fight that we can. The fact that Jude Bellingham had an assist in the Euro Cup final, he played his heart out for England, and he was criticized, and he gave it back at the press that
Yeah.
like I was criticized way too much, even though I was the one who's saving him. And the way he put Real Madrid in that zone to be successful in the concluding part of the season, and then when he came back this season, there's this era where it was not one season. I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna do it better. And the attitude he has, man. I remember when we were speaking to Alex Perez, the photographer, and he also gave a similar example to what Farooq said, where it's the 90th minute of the game, you're winning 3-0. He loses the ball.
Yeah.
He runs 30 yards, retrieves the ball back, passes it, and when you look at him, he's literally like his hands on his knees, and he's like literally panting. He's so tired, but he's gonna give every ounce of breath he has. If Real Madrid could do much better with that, and that's a quality which is indispensable, man. We used to talk about Luka Modric and Toni Kroos, what they would do off with the ball and how they would control. What these guys do on and off the ball, these two, Fede and Jude.
Yeah.
If they could do it for like 5-6 years continuously, it is like, it's like diamond in a gold mine, man. It's like that.
100%. I mean, people kind of look past, what Jude Bellingham also brings to the table quality-wise, and sometimes people, like especially the modern world, like what Farooq said earlier, they get carried away with the numbers, and Sid gave us a perfect example of what he does, what it does to the naked eye when you watch him in action. Go on, Sid, you had to say something.
No, just a stat that I just read, which is obviously related to Jude Bellingham, but out of context.
Right.
Jude Bellingham has won more trophies this year than Pedri has assists in La Liga.
I mean, it's a comparison for the memers, but yeah.
No, but when you compare names around him,
Oh yeah,
these are a few names. And he shuts you down every way possible. Numbers, no numbers. Work rate, no work rate. Clinical moments, big game moments, he's there. And so young, so good. I remember when Sid Lowe, when we met him for the first time, and he said that Real Madrid have signed great players across their 120-year history. When was the player who had this kind of an impact in his first season? And if this is what he can do in his first season, just imagine what's there to come for the next 10.
100%. Farooq didn't expect this. I was the one who expected this. Farooq, if you could just say yes so that I can, squeeze that satisfaction out of the conversation.
Definitely, man. I wasn't. I mean, more or less, what I expected from Jude is, as I said, like what I see from Jude now. What the discussion was about the fact that can Jude score goals, and I definitely did not believe that is something that was possible. You understand? And of course, Jude showed up in the most, brilliant way possible. Like Jude has showed that he has a knack for, understanding how to attack space. Because I think this is very important. Like how to attack space is something that's something that, I mean, you can teach people this. You understand?
Yeah.
You just cannot teach people this. It's either you have it or not. You understand? So you can become a better goal scorer and all that, but like the way Jude attacks space, it's something different, honestly. So I definitely, tip my hat to you soon. Like you saw that, and I definitely did not 100%.
My goodness, I'm gonna well up, man. I'm gonna well up now. But this basically means I'm one of the top scouts in all of North America, competing for a spot in Europe as well soon enough. But there you go, man. I didn't even really watch much of Jude in the Bundesliga, apart from, when his signing kind of got imminent. I saw a few of the compilations out there, and the way he basically, like you just said, interpreted space and knew where and when to be, especially in transition, just made me feel like he can be an invaluable asset, and he's proving me right, proving everyone right. But yeah, Rodrigo, quickly said, trademark finish. The collar is something that we have seen from Rodrigo over the years. He has a knack for scoring them, and again turning up in big games.
And Rodrigo is a big game player. Like that is something you cannot take away from him. And that goal was of his class apart. Like, what more could you say? The way he curls it in just enough to find the back of the net, and you are in that zone where you're like, he is magic. And I'm glad he's finding his space back again in the front three after so many injuries that he has had this season. Sometimes he's just unlucky because the media spotlight is also not on him as much there is on Vinny and Mbappe and then Jude.
Yeah.
And sometimes a lot of people, try to put him out of the conversation. And he is an equally important part of the puzzle as the other three. And he also offers a lot for you defensively. Just leave the goal if you see the game today. Keep the goal out of the conversation we are having today. He still does so much for a right winger who could move centrally or the left whenever you want to. It's just amazing to see. And the way he turns up in big games, he knows how to make these big games his moments. And that goal was also very important in the context of the game. 1-0, always lose ends, and suddenly you score something like that. And your team is like, okay, he has done it, now it's my turn. And that gave a lot of freedom to Vinny and a lot of players to take their chances, where they were like,
the shackles were off after that goal.
Yeah. So, man, he's, I think, the only, thing that worries me with respect to the front three right now is just a moment where I remember when I think Luka Modric took a corner and he passed this to Brahim Diaz. And then Luka was making that overlap run, expecting a pass from Brahim, and Brahim tries to put in a cross. And I'm just thinking that Mbappe is not on the pitch. So if the cross is not pinch perfect, there's nobody who could attack the ball with their head. But nobody's gonna, and that's the only worry because when things are not going your way, it's as simple as that. That is what you try. This is the first instinctive thing that you try. Okay, I'm not able to play my natural game, not able to dribble past my players. They are really defending with a low block or something. And I'm not saying it happened today, but it's just something that at the back of my mind, which I'm saying. And the thing that you resort to is your wing backs, your wingers trying to put on balls in the box for one head to, connect and find the back of the net. And that's the only thing where I had, but with respect to Rodrigo, phenomenal goal and deserved it.
Farooq, when you speak about Rodrigo, right? The conversations were always there. You were very critical of him at certain points. So was I. I'm kind of his biggest fan among us, but even I had moments where I used to question, what does the future look like for Rodrigo? But when we see performances like this, there is still a valid case, especially if we find the right balance, to start this front three and them being as decisive as they can be, at least on paper.
Definitely, I totally agree. My comments about Rodrigo were very harsh last year, and I still stand by them. I feel that Rodrigo had a chance to stake a claim for being an undribbable member of the team.
Yeah.
Because Vinny has done this. Vinny has done this the year we won the league we won the double with Karim Benzema. Last year Karim Benzema left. Vinny continued to do his stuff. Jude came in. Jude stepped up, and there was a period where Vinny was out, Jude was out. Rodrigo stepped up a bit, and then when these guys came back, Rodrigo became a shell again. Literally, he was shooting straight at goalkeepers and all that. And after that, I just made the comment that Rodrigo has missed a chance. Now he's going to be the one that's going to be dropped to accommodate Kylian Mbappe. because I felt the way forward for this team with the absence of Toni Kroos was to go for a midfield forward. But honestly, this season, I think until Vinicius also picked up form, I think for the first few games, we could see
Yeah.
that the most in form of these three, although he wasn't scoring, was
Mhm.
Rodrigo. He
Yeah.
was the one who was trying to make stuff happen. He was the most exciting of them all. And now we can also
Mhm.
see that he's also starting to score these goals. And as you guys rightly pointed, like this corner is something that we've seen from Rodrigo many times. This is something
Mhm.
that we can go in games and see like almost the way he scored the goal is almost I don't remember, but I just saw it and was like, yeah, this is typical Rodrigo. Just going, feigning the shot, again feigning the shot, bringing it back to the other foot, and then giving a collar.
Yeah.
So I think Rodrigo is actually starting to, show what I expected to see from him last season, taking the game by the scruff of the neck, like being that player that, shows up when it matters, not just in the important games. Because the point is that
Mm.
if you win the big games and you lose the lower games, you still don't win the league.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is the point, you understand? So you have to be there for at least 70% of the season, even if you're not there for the first 30%. For the other 70%, you have to be there. So this is
Mm.
what I think Rodrigo has still not shown us yet. I think if he can continue this form, pushing it into what Spain
Yeah.
looks like, I think
Mm.
Rodrigo will go back into that position of being undroppable. But I still think that he still has a fight on his hand if
Yeah.
everyone is fit to maintain that position in the front three.
Mm. Well, there you go. There you go. That's the only thing left from his um from his checklist, basically, to be consistent, because he has the tricks, right? He has the attitude, he has the work rate. I mean, the amount of distance he covers, especially track and back for a winger, is a very valuable asset for our side. The amount of times he wins the back possession, he puts his compatriots to shame. It is an underrated uh, determination that he has, especially when you're out of possession. And Rodrigo, man, like we spoke about, I think the last time we were here, Farooq, like it is him coming back from injury, because like he had and still kind of looks a bit rusty. We have to kind of give him time to kind of get back to his A game, and once he does, I think he's like, I still believe that he's going to continue to be decisive in big moments. But like what Farooq just mentioned, him also being key in your not so S tier, A tier games is going to basically decide where he would end up in the next 2-3 years. Because as much as he can be impactful off the bench, a player like him, he should be starting games, and he would want to basically start games. But yeah, man, nobody's gonna question Rodrigo's ability. It's about consistency at this level, fortunately. But great goal. You can't take anything away from it. But yeah, a few other comments before we slowly start to wind this up. There isn't much to talk about the defense, but it's good to see guys like Sensio getting some minutes, Ceballos getting minutes. Since we were on
Lucas,
Rodrigo, sorry. Oh yeah, Lucas Vasquez. Oh yeah,
he,
definitely.
he was
Crucial performance.
crucial performance, but in the first half he was getting cooked. Like he was
I'm very kind of
like
numb to it, because it's expected at this point. You can't look past it. He is not a defender, right?
yeah, and the fact that
Yeah.
like he won the penalty, so I'm not taking any credit away. Like,
And how many
and
times has he done it throughout his career? I mean, that is a classic Vasquez,
he
chop back that always works. Always.
he he's a positive Morata. Like
Mm.
say for example, I say that Morata has a good moment which is followed by a disastrous moment. I
Mm.
feel you remember 2018 World Cup or something. He scored a goal in extra time and went on to miss the penalty for Spain. I've seen him so many times last season for Athletic. I think Lucas Vasquez he has a bad face, and then he does something offensively so well that you're
Yeah.
just forgotten by the fact that he committed something like that.
Mm.
But yeah, but still a
That's a good point.
Mexican winger cooking you. Oh, what's it? Salomon Rondon on the
The
left.
striker.
Yeah.
Not sure. I'm not sure. Not sure. But
But yeah, I think
he's expected to have stinkers defensively. So there is nothing you can basically do to negate it. I mean, it's out there for the world to see. like as we are speaking right now, this is the Sevilla coaching staff. At least their their video analytical department is collecting, numbering up tapes of how Vasquez can be exploited. It's anyone's bread basically who's going to play against us. They're going to focus on that wing and basically take advantage of what Vasquez basically lacks defensively. There's nothing you can do, right? There's nothing you can do. But yeah, I still like his offensive contributions. I still do think that I respect him because of it. He is a defensive liability, but to an extent he does carry himself around. I mean, he doesn't basically make the team pay for his mistakes. We have seen a couple of times, especially against was it Girona? I can't remember, or was it Bilbao? That he kind of mistimed the jump for the header. I think it was against Girona, but there have been occasions. There will be occasions where you seem to kind of left wanting a bit more out of Vasquez. But yeah, some people are kind of the opinion that he is being played at wing back, so he should be judged as a defender. But I'm gonna basically look at what it is as the way it is. He is not a defender. But yeah, some of the live chat, big up everyone who's here. Vishnu was mentioning Vinny is suspended for the next game, so it is his last game of the year. Basically, I think he was mentioning Sevilla. He's gonna miss Sevilla. Yeah. Rajat was mentioning how can we win the trophy of one game? Don't get it. Yeah, I didn't get it as well. Like, is it the new format? Because we used to always play a semi-final, right, in the Club World Cup in previous years.
We used to play 2 games. We used to play a semi-final and then a final. We played like midweek and then but I think this time around, because like they changed it into like the Intercontinental Cup and like made the Club World Cup a 4-year event, so like which is gonna happen in the summer. So like they just like bring like, okay, the European teams get direct route to the final, just play one game, you win your champions.
Yeah. I think it reminds me of the format they had previously, I think before 2007 or 2008, where European teams would directly play the final. And then they were like, it's a little more of a privilege. So they would be like, they added a semi-final to it. And then they made it a 4-game, yeah. But the format keeps on changing. And now because of the bigger Club World Cup. So, yeah, kind of unfair also that Pachuca has to play 3 games and we play 1 game. They play every 3 days.
Yeah. Yeah.
Life is unfair. Sorry, bro. Whoever questioned us. It's FIFA, not us.
I don't want to sound elitist, but I completely don't back that sentiment. It's just it. But yeah, man, Raja was also mentioning life is definitely unfair. Raja was mentioning how did Leo go about Wirtz and Valverde and them, man, right? Yeah. We know how it works, man, with PR. He was asking, did Carlo Ancelotti get to vote or not in the panel? I don't think he gets a vote, right?
I think it's national team coaches.
Yeah.
National team coaches.
And also, like, it's 193 national team coaches, and it's only 186 or 187 captains. So some of the captains also chose not to vote. So, yeah, but it's majorly only registered members of FIFA.
Mbappe didn't vote, right? Yeah.
No, because Mbappe was not registered as a captain then. So somebody else did vote. Like Cristiano didn't vote. Bernardo Silva was the main captain for Portugal.
Okay. Right. Raja was mentioning Vinny has way more ability than Haaland. Haaland's best work is off the ball pressing, physicality, hold up play, to be honest, maybe clinicality. Right.
Maybe clinicality. I mean
maybe.
I mean, no. Maybe. After maybe there is a comma, right? So he's firm on the clinicality bit. I mean, come on, man. Haaland has been missing some chances as well. Like he isn't the one chance, one goal striker. That's Cristiano in his prime. Haaland isn't that guy. I get your point. He's more clinical than your average striker or the strikers we see nowadays. He's more clinical than Osimhen for sure. But
One of the big, like obviously both of them are different players, but I also feel Erling Haaland and Vinicius Junior, like one thing that differentiates them on characteristic is their ability, their presence in big knockout games. If I could be wrong, but when Erling Haaland won the treble,
Don't say it out loud. We're gonna face them very soon, so I don't want him to basically channel, his big game performance. But very valid points.
Facts are facts. Facts are facts. You can't deny facts. Yeah, okay, like you don't want to jinx it, but facts are facts. That's just the truth. Like Vini has been.
I'm just very superstitious when it comes to my club. I don't give a fuck about anything else in life, but my club and the Champions League, I don't touch that shit. But
I'm looking forward to meeting Big Steve again.
Oh yeah, he is very much looking forward to us as well because at this rate, that is his only hope.
Let them win against Paris first, and then think after that.
Like, is there a possibility we might face them in the playoffs if that's the case?
There is a possibility, but bro, if they lose against Paris, man, because like the game against Paris is like almost a one-off for both of them. Like whoever wins becomes the 24th, and the others becomes the 25th, and 24th is the cutoff point. But then you still have one more game in hand. So anyways, so let's see. Well, the game against Paris can be shit.
I don't want to do a fucking preview with Steve in January, man. What the fuck is that about? But
and just imagine Oil Money not making up to the knockout games. Both of them. It's gonna be hilarious.
Yeah, like I just hope we don't face them in the playoffs. That will be fucking criminal. Like I don't want to go through. I mean, like
I'd rather face them in the playoffs without them having Rodri. And if he comes back by the end, like when it's semis or something, and Rodri is back.
Will he be back by the semis?
I don't know, man. Spanish doctor, all of these go to this very famous. Spanish players have this great doctor in Barcelona where all of them go for an ACL injury, and instead of a 12-month rehab, it's a 9-month, and 10th month they're starting games and everything. So
no, I mean those guys are gonna buy shit ton of players in January, man. I do think even Zubimendi from the Basque region is gonna join City, man.
Oh man, don't tell me.
Zubimendi is a phenomenal player. The thing is, right? It's not about actually facing them without Rodri. With Rodri, for me, it is the fact that like I see on Twitter, I see on Instagram, under comments that is anything Real Madrid. Like people say, oh, you know what? Give us City, or City. Like if we face City in the playoffs, it would be the perfect time to kind of batter them and whatnot. Like I get what that thinking is, like they're in a bad moment, but like let's be honest and not kid ourselves, right? Like, when we're tuning in for the game, I would be, absolutely, very fucking nervous to kind of face them. So I don't want to go through that. I don't want to be in that space before the quarterfinals or the semis. It's just me. Like I don't want that kind of stress. It's too early in the season.
Especially when you consider what the other possibilities are. It's like Feyenoord, I think PSV, Sporting. I mean, why should we get City out of all that?
Yeah. Like no matter what form they are in, they're still gonna be a big fucking threat, right? I mean, don't play them. That's just it. Doesn't matter even if they're in the relegation or whatever. Just don't play them. Peace of mind. Yeah,
as you said. In the semis, in the finals, of course, you have to play the best teams. But like for the playoff game, come on, like why should you play those guys at the playoff?
Yeah, there you go. Farooq has a soft spot for me finally. Fucking hell. It took 3 years. But Raja was also mentioning we will sign Dalot or Trent this January, maybe. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I also want to go to space, bro. Yeah. So send me to space.
Right. Raja was also mentioning, I never doubted Vinny. Knew he was going to turn out great, but obviously maybe not the world-class level. Yeah. Like I don't shy away from the fact that I wasn't very confident, but that's how life is, right? Like you can't really predict something to happen and be absolutely bang on right about it all the time. Sometimes I do get it wrong. But yeah, big up every single one of you in the chat. Big up Farooq. Big up Sid, man. I think we don't need much closing comments. This was a trophy to kind of boost morale. Take a step into January, basically end the year on a high. I mean, ending the year on a high depends on Sevilla as well, right? Sevilla is basically, they're in,
And
hot shit form.
ending the year on a high also depends on the game on Saturday night. Atleti take on Barcelona, second versus first.
Oh, yeah. That's the big
In
one.
Montjuic without Lamine Yamal.
Oh, Yamal is missing, yeah?
Yeah,
he has an injury
he's
or
injured.
something.
He's out for 2 weeks. And their luck is so that he got injured during a 2-week break. Our players get ACL in the first month of the season.
Yeah, true.
I mean, I don't know what you guys expect, but like, I mean, Atletico Madrid against Barcelona has just one outcome: Barcelona win, full stop. There is
especially Barca at home. Like, I've never seen Atleti pick up points. Not even a fucking draw.
Exactly, man. You watch
they lost.
Atleti, even the title-winning seasons, when you watch Atleti and be like, yeah, they're gonna go to Barcelona and finally do something, and then you go there and it's like, okay, yeah, I don't want to use some languages here, and it's what you get.
Yeah.
There's just two things to add there. Like, Barcelona lost to Leganes at home, which is weird. But I'll also say this: there is this really good report that was published last year where Diego Simeone's. So last season, statistically, was Diego Simeone's worst season as an Atleti coach, where he finished fourth. And and there was this thing where they were mentioning how he has found a tackle, like he has found a solution to tackle every big club apart from Barcelona. He knows how to beat Real Madrid, especially Carlo Ancelotti. He has a good record against him. He knows how to get better of Bayern, Juve, or whatever. But against Barcelona, something happens and he cannot get a result. It's a psychological and he has sleepless nights because of that. He has openly told in the press so many times, be it like Luis Enrique, beat Pep back then, or Ernesto Valverde, or not Ernesto Valverde. Yeah, Ernesto Valverde, and even like Xavi, he just does not find his rhythm against Barcelona. Like, it's a very strange approach he has. He might have got a few results, but he's never confident. He says that against Barcelona, I really depend on moments rather than strengths. And coming from the coach itself is a very It
sets the precedent, basically before they even touch the turf. Like what Farooq said, I don't expect much. Go on, Sid.
I was saying, but like it's a I don't know. Like Atleti, I think, are on an 11-game winning streak, if I'm not wrong. But I don't know how they're getting results. It's obviously not the right podcast for it, but somehow they're getting results, which is not very Atleti-like. Like last season,
you go to see them, right? Like, are they good on the eye? Do they dominate teams? I don't watch them much.
What did I text you when I was watching them against Getafe?
Oh, it was a boring game.
I was asleep. I was literally, I had to get a black coffee to get awake. And I was like, but they're getting results. And it's a very, I thought like, because it's a big game and I have a friend who's a huge Barcelona fan and he's doing a podcast and we were preparing for him, and there are things that we found, the fact that Simeone still doesn't know his starting 11 as of now. Every game there's a new forward line which is starting, and there's a new midfield set which is playing. Everybody's playing and still they're getting results, which is like the most unheard thing you would see in football, where you have a new lineup every other day and you're still getting results. And if he gets that result in Barcelona, which will be very difficult, but that could generally be like, the best thing would be a draw. They draw.
A draw would be, draw would be 100% absolutely prime for us to kind of get back in on the action. I do think this league is ours to lose, because we have the quality, we have the experience and the continuity, especially with this management, to actually do some damage come the final third of the season. But a few more comments. Raja was mentioning, no, I never doubted Vinny knew he was. Oh, I read that. He was also mentioning didn't get to watch Bellingham's assist. Rodrigo Vinigo was penalty or Mbappe. Vinigo was a penalty, yeah. Raja was mentioning, I'm confident and sure Kamavinga and Tchouaméni can cover this much pitch as well. Probably, I think he's referring to Fede and Jude's conversation. He was also asking us, will you take Bentancur and Van de Ven, Farouk, our Premier League specialist?
Van
de
de
Ven
Ven is literally in the hospital every other week. Otherwise, Van de Ven would have been a phenomenal
like,
defender.
how fucking quick is that MF?
Van de Ven would
this
have
guy.
been a phenomenal defender. Especially for a team like Real Madrid, where like you're always like, do firefighting. You're always putting out fires, He would have been a phenomenal defender. But man,
stylistically, Rudiger and Van de Ven, would they complement each other? Oh.
Then they would. I think actually Van de Ven. I actually think Van de Ven and Militao would be better, because I think Rudiger is more rash, I would say.
Is Van de Ven like that as well, or is he a much more composed guy?
He's a much more composed guy. But the problem about Van de Ven is that he needs a leader. This is why they work very well with Romero.
Okay, right.
So, but I do think Van de Ven would have been a phenomenal defender for Real Madrid if not being made of glass. I mean, it's like my love of Rhys James as well. Like, I mean, I love Rhys James to the beat. I believe like he would have been the perfect, person to succeed Carvajal. But bro, I mean, the best ability is availability, bro.
Rhys James is the Luke Shaw as the right back.
Oh shit, man! Yeah, that's true as well, man. United is not signing a fullback because they have Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw is good. You have to give credit. Like, he's a really good fullback. But then he's not there. What do you want to do?
Yeah.
And also, Van de Ven I don't think it happens, because I know Florentino Perez doesn't like Dutch players. So we've never signed a Dutch player post 2007.
And also dealing with Danny Levy also is a problem. So like there is no point. But bro, I would tell you, like, keep an eye out for Romero, man.
Oh yeah, she's world class.
I do think Romero might be a defender that Real Madrid might be looking at. I don't know.
Romero is that good? Like, the guy fucking gets a red card every other week. Like, at least when I was paying attention to what Spurs were doing.
Till now, he still gets a red card literally every month. There is a card, there is a suspension somewhere. But man, you cannot take away what that guy's ability he has. Man,
is he got that good? Yeah.
Man, I don't know, man. I feel like when you take away Arsenal's defenders, man, I think he's the next best in the Premier. Honestly, like, he's really good, man. He's really good.
Because he's in the... Go on, sir.
You could continue. I'm not going to mention Romero.
No, I was just going to say that, since he's in the news for all the wrong reasons, it kind of puts out the wrong impression that he isn't. But yeah, like, I've seen his name pop up in one of our... like, in some of our transfer rumors, Romero might be something we might be looking at. How old is he? Is he 25?
I think he's like 26 or 7, man. I don't know, but I do feel like for Real Madrid right now, Italian defenders are going to be the options, in my opinion. I do think because, like, in Italy, you have a lot of young defenders. I mean,
Bastoni and the likes.
Bastoni is, I don't know. Bastoni feels like a no-go place, but like when you look at the likes of Buongiorno, like, at Napoli, or look at Calvini at Atlanta.
Calvini,
yeah. Exactly. These are players that might be, and they will not be too expensive. I think, like, I do think eventually, like, Bastoni might leave, but Bastoni might be quite too expensive for Real Madrid. I think the Premier League might be a better place. But
who was the last fucking Italian we had in our lineup?
In our lineup?
From Cannavaro.
In our lineup, let's think. Who was an Italian that we had?
Cannavaro was there, but that was ages ago. After that, there was no one. Holy shit.
Oh man, how did we not have Italian in our lineup?
I should ask Francesco, what is his opinion on our Italian scouting strategy? Like, is it good enough? But
well, I mean, speaking of Spurs, what do you guys think of Pedro Porro?
Top player, man. I like the way he's linked to Real Madrid, and I feel see, the right backs currently linked are Trent Alexander-Arnold. There is a talk of Diego Dalot. There is Frimpong at Leverkusen. And then there is Pedro Porro. And I think Pedro Porro, you can see it in the Premier League. He is made of different gravy. Like, he's one of those players, I feel, a club like Spurs, you might not see him excel, but like he might just do enough to make that move to a big club. And then you see what he can actually offer.
I definitely agree with you, man. I could not agree more, because I do feel like with Pedro Porro, like, you see at Spurs, you think like, he's a liability in defense or this and that. I think that's definitely not the case. And the point about Pedro Porro is that, like, the delivery he has on his feet, bro, man, I don't know, man.
Crosses.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
man, crosses, corners, free kicks, man. That guy is as you know, as Sid was saying, man, he's different gravy, man. But of course, like for me, first choice is always Trent. After Trent, like I think Pedro Porro might be a very, and also in Spanish. He also is
Yeah.
Spanish, so I think that
Yeah.
would be a good succession, from Carvalho to Pedro Porro as well. But then again, dealing with Daniel Levy is a whole crazy team, so I don't know if our club will
How
go.
much is he gonna cost? At least 50, no?
I think
No?
already he cost Tottenham around 30-40 million when they bought him, I think.
Yeah, so it's gonna be 70, I feel, 70,
Exactly.
What the fuck?
So that's why I just feel like,
We are never spending 70 on a defender ever.
nah, he's not going to be up to
No.
70, man. But more or less, because I think first paid around
even a 50,
euros.
even in the 50 range, I don't see our club spending that much on a defender ever. But
I feel
I think trends are meant to be broken. But yeah, go on, Sid.
I was just saying, like, that centre back conversation, and I genuinely feel like right now, obviously, we have two centre backs, and when Alaba comes in, three who could play for the next 2 years if they are injury free, or I don't know how they come back from injury. But I would keep an eye on Saliba. I don't think Arsenal, good team, not a lot of winning history, I would say, but good team, and they are on the rise. There is no denying that. But if they don't win for 2 years, there will be a lot. They have a lot of world-class players who would be questioning themselves, where do we go if we want to win?
No, we are not getting Saliba.
I think French centre back at Real Madrid has been a thing.
I know it's a staple, but like, how long is this contract gonna run for? Like at least another 4 years? No, I'm not sure.
And I am talking about after those 4 years. Anyways, we are signing players on a free. Kylian Mbappe came on a free. Trent Alexander looks like he's going to join on a free.
But it'll be a huge win if we actually get someone like him on a free, for sure. And if he runs out his contract, I mean, why not?
The thing is, these players sometimes will question. Arsenal could win and things could change. The equation could change. But out of all football clubs that we have seen, the best Arsenal players are known for leaving the club to win trophies somewhere else. Thierry Henry, Cesc Fabregas, Robin van Persie, Samir Nasri, Gael Clichy. The list at Emmanuel Adebayor. I'm not saying he's the best, but I'm starting from Thierry Henry.
Yeah.
And how long if it's in the DNA also sometimes. So, like, I was looking at this Sky Sports video where there's a Man City fan. They asked who would you want to sign to have a rebuild, and the first name they put in was Cole Palmer, and second what we need is Saka, Bukayo Saka, and I was like, but that is how he explained, like Cole Palmer. They call him Cold Palmer because I just call him Cold Palmer with my brother. But Cole Palmer in general, like, he's a City youth product and blah 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 and whatever. But with Saka, like, if he doesn't win for 3 years, he will be looking at, I'm 27. How much more do I have? Because his pace is gonna go down, and it's very difficult for wingers to convert into like clinical forwards. He'll be. I have to win. Like, obviously, like you want to see, like, sometimes players, they want, when they are having that low time in life and had a fight with their wives, second wife or third, that I don't know. But they want to look at their medals and, like, I won these with my lads. And I don't know, because there is very few clubs where you're guaranteed winning trophies.
Yeah.
So, but I think
Saka on the right wing would be good.
Saka might be different. I don't think Saka joins a club like Real Madrid. I just feel like for Saka it might mean more, for him. Like, I think Saliba, I can understand what
Haaland prospect.
Exactly. I think for Saka, Saka definitely is someone that embodies the team and is someone that enjoys the way he is at Arsenal and the way he's adored at Arsenal. So I do kind of feel like it's not a matter of like Spurs and Harry Kane when you haven't won anything in your whole life. He has already won 2 FA Cups, if I'm not mistaken, at Arsenal. I know for sure he has won one, but I think it's two. He's won two
One,
titles.
one.
One, right?
One FA Cup and 2 community shields. Just to
Yeah.
remind what Mikel Arteta reminded everybody in the press
I mean,
conference.
that was crazy. I don't know how you even count community shield.
That's the fucking level Arsenal are at, right? Like, nobody considers them the big club.
I don't know, man. I just feel like the point is like you look at it and you'll be like, okay, like the target for him and Arteta is like, okay, if Arteta leaves Arsenal in the coming years, maybe Saka leaves. But I feel like right now with Arteta there, he would feel like, okay, the target is to dethrone City. Him joining City literally like removes all the goodwill that he has. So that's
they dethrone City, and where do they sit? Fourth? Are they fourth? Are they fifth? Where are they?
No, I mean the point is like right now you have to see how it goes. And right now the point is okay, Liverpool is playing phenomenally, but right now also we are seeing Arsenal develop and evolve into something that we never thought they could be. Because everyone
Stoke City.
Come on, man. Like that's unfair. That's unfair. But that's the thing. Like everyone who's watched Arsenal,
you get fucking goals from set pieces only. No. Is that meant to be normal?
Bro, it's an ability, bro. Like this is just the point. It's an ability. The issue is that you have to understand that when they develop this ability, their creative hub, Martin Odegaard, was missing. This is just the point. The importance of Odegaard was re-highlighted when he was gone. So like they had to develop something. They had to develop a strong belly, which is what they developed, more or less. But anyways, man, like I think this is not the right place to,
Yeah, 100%. This is kind of feeder for those people, like who like, especially on audio, they want something long. Here you go. We kind of discuss something off topic as well. But Begum Bashik, he was mentioning, Rajesh also asked you guys about Bentancur. Like, bro, Bentancur is 28 though, right? He is on the wrong end of 20, is he?
Yeah, and we also, I think he's from Uruguay, Bentancur.
Yeah.
Yes, we have the best from Uruguay already, so it's fine.
I mean, the point is right now, if you're selling us a midfielder in the profile of the midfielders that we have, if you're selling me a Martin Odegaard, I can understand. If you're presenting me a Dejan Kulusevski, I can understand. But Bentancur, bro, we have players that are 1 million times better than Bentancur. He's a fine player, there is no doubt. But we have players of his profile who are much more better.
So you're telling me, like, I haven't watched him enough. Like he isn't as skillful as, like, maybe.
Nah, he's not as creative, man. I mean, for Spurs, the creative help is Kulusevski, man. That's the way all the creativity comes from.
Right. Ashik was sending digs Farouk's way. He was asking, so who wants to fire the most decorated coach in Real Madrid history? Blah blah blah. It's the usual case. Ashik, Farouk has been nice today. Let's not trigger him. Ashik was also mentioning Cannavaro was the last Italian we have had in the team. He was also mentioning 15 trophies for Carlo. Arsenal is managed by Mini Pep. Right. So they are the Man City without the 115 charges. That's funny. Go on, Sid. Sid was going to say something? No,
it's just laughing.
Right. Ashik was also mentioning how that Real Madrid is actually courting Malik Thiaw as well. Fits in with the signing young method. And scouting report is somewhat positive, but kid isn't a finished product yet. I used to watch a bit of Milan, and I've seen Thiaw's, at least his early days at Milan. He was a bright kid. I'm not pretty sure where he is at this moment in time, at least in terms of pecking order and whatnot. Farouk might know a bit more. Farouk, do you have any idea? Malik Thiaw, does he seem like...
Definitely not. I mean, he is not the players that you're looking to sign. I mean, at least based on what I've seen, is that he's not those kind of players that you're looking to sign while they're young and they can improve, but they can also make an immediate impact in the team. I do not think he's one of those.
The only Milan player I would want to sign is Reinders. That guy is... I like how he plays, but...
I mean, but if you sign Reinders, where do you put him? This is the point. They are really good players.
Backup.
I mean,
luxury.
Backup.
We have so many injuries also, man. Luxury.
Right.
No, but just...
Right. I used to like Tomori, though. Like I used to think he could be really good for us when he was, in his pomp at Milan. But I think it is a bit of recent history, at least. Ashik was mentioning Luka 39 and 28 trophies with Madrid, most decorated Madridista. Vinny at 24 has 14 trophies already. Vinny is on track to become the most decorated Madridista. in bracket he was mentioning after me. But yeah, I guess that's pretty much it, boys. Big up the people in the chat. Smash the likes on the way out, and yeah, big up our audio listeners as well. Always for being our backbone over the last 3.5, 4 years. You guys have been instrumental to what we do, and always would like to extend our warmest hugs and love, man, for always sending us positive feedback, negative feedback. Making this a two-way street. This sport is this sport because of the immense support that you guys have showered us with over the years. I would also like you guys to request to show some love to the content that Said and his team basically puts out from Madrid as well. Go show it some love whenever you guys get a chance. But yeah, big up our sponsors like always, Manscaped. Go check them out. LBA20 to get 20% off and free shipping on manscaped.com. Go check out Fanatics, official partners of Madrid and La Liga, the biggest sports apparel collection online. Go show them some love. Make sure you guys use our link as well. Show some love to Talksport as well, biggest sports radio station in the world. If you guys didn't know, now you know this podcast is powered by the Talksport Fan Network, powered by the fans. But yeah, Ashok was also mentioning I would go for an Atlanta player instead, Ederson. I haven't seen much of Ederson, but he seems to be a good blend of the new and the old. But I'm not sure. Farouk lives very close to Bergamo. He might know better. Farouk.
Yeah, I mean, the issue I also have with all these kind of midfielders is that like they offer, not an alternative to what we have, but similar to what we already have. You understand? So this is why I'm not denying that Ederson is a fantastic player. You understand? And he was a bargain for he was a great find for Atlanta, and Gasperini. But the point also is that like when we look at it from the scope of Real Madrid, like it's not what the team is crying out for. We need, like, for instance, from there, like we can look at a player like the Qatar and think, okay, like maybe he can be, a player that can play, a deeper midfield role from Atlanta, for instance. Well, this is just it, like Ederson, a great player, I think, but just not right for Real Madrid.
Well, there you go. Because that's pretty much it, boys. Until next time, watch out for the preview for Sevilla. Farooq might be here. I'm not sure if Sid would be here, but make sure you guys tune in probably Thursday or Friday. That'll
Friday.
be out. Friday, yeah. Okay. The boss said so. So we'll have to kind of give into that slot. Friday it is, boys. Make sure to tune in and show the boys some love. But yeah, until next time, people. Hala Madrid.
Hala Madrid.
Y nada más.
All right, people, we're good to go.